Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Jan, Patricia, and Peter. 1982, Part 174. These letters were originally published as Smallshaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC number 88, published on November 9, 2002. Letter from the editor of the SFMC. Yours truly, Peter J. Ray. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another fine and dandy SFMC issue. In this selection, we go back to 1982, the summer of 1982, and what a summer it was. Peter graduated from Duke University cum laude, majoring in history. His long-anticipated move to the Dominican Republic never took place. Instead, he came home to Rocky River, Ohio, and worked on the Lake Erie lakefront damage down below at home. For endless years, Ruth had participated in John's Zook family reunions in Lakeside, Ohio. In 1982, finally, the family, except for Patricia, who stayed in Rocky River to study organic chemistry at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland as a part of her pre-medical school requirements, all flew to Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, then drove to Estevan, Saskatchewan for Ruth's family reunion. Estevan is where Ruth's father, George Smallshaw Jr., grew up after his parents moved to Canada from England a century ago. So the Rays had a chance to meet their Canadian relatives and absorb some family history. But, or mostly perhaps, it was a chance to spend time with Ruth's dear mother, Augusta Smallshaw, Grandma Smallshaw to her grandchildren. Ruth's Aunt Chris Field showed the group family historical sites, including the trees which George Smallshaw Sr., her father, planted and watered himself way back in time, the early years of the 20th century. The group spent much time at the home of Shirley and Pine Dearest, Ruth's cousins, who still made their home in Estevan, working the enormous family wheat farm. Bud Smallshaw made an appearance, but his own children did not. Peter proceeded to Banff and Lake Louise in the Canadian Rocky Mountains for some time with his cousin Brian Smallshaw and some camping in that beautiful area, especially Lake Louise, where John and Ruth honeymooned back to 1950. 20 years later, in 2002, Alice, Tim, and I are excited about spending another Christmas in Rocky River, Ohio, USA, with John, Ruth, Patricia, and phone calls from Mark. All the best, y'all. Peter J. Ray. Meyer, Stevens, and Ray Corporations, attorneys at law, 2121 The Superior Building, Cleveland, Ohio, March 25th, 1982. Dear Gus, if you have not already seen the enclosed item, we thought you and your bridge buddies might enjoy it. Love, Ruth and John. Marriott's Marco Beach Resort, Marco Island, Florida, 33937, March 24th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, I'm so glad that my card from Marco Island finally arrived. I was just leaving for bridge this morning when your letter came. I noticed that they hadn't canceled the stamps in the last two letters, so I thought I'd send them back to you to use again for a free trip. We're going to phone Patty and Mark tonight to see how Patty found Mark and to see how he feels. He's going into the hospital tomorrow. Beautiful today here and no coats for any of us at bridge. A contrast to a month ago, snow. I took some of my crocuses to her. I'm supposed to have bridge here next month, supposed to be today, but getting ready for a show. Next month my daffodils should be out fully. Peter said he thought it funny that you wrote about mixing bloods, but I told him that's how we feel. He is right about a lot of his political ideas, and it is bad what's happening in Central America. Our minister, Richard Morris, thinks it's bad too. I sent John's mother the pictures of us at Marco Island, and after Patty sees them, we'll send them to you. My suit is a cream chamois color. Patty gave me a lovely beige dress for Christmas that I just wore to bridge. She gave a green one to Janice, and she wore it a lot over Christmas. I must get to cleaning the house since Patty's coming home. Lots to do. Shar McQuilkin took these pictures. Send back the ones you don't want and keep the ones you want. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, April 7th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, 11 years ago on Easter sunrise, April 11th, since Pamela left us. Mark has been in the hospital getting his insulin regulated. Patty came home for my art show, which I feel was a great success. I have sold 21 paintings at the show so far for a total of $1,653 in sales. I have sold 3 paintings at $200 each, so getting my prices up. I sold 10 Sunday and had a nice crowd. It was so wonderful of Patty to come. I wish you could see my show before all my good paintings are gone. We've just had a tremendous storm, the worst in 8 years. It wrought terrific damage and took down the Yacht Club lighthouse. We heard a great crash over the intercom yesterday about 2 to 4 a.m., and John took his life in his hands yesterday and went to see the damage in the afternoon. The storm blew off the beach house porch, the door was off, 3 windows were blown in, glass, waves, water, mud, rugs, sofa, and drapes. It also blew off a part of the break wall. The grass is gone and big areas of topsoil are gone, a real mess. I hate to think of the repairs. John wanted to send you an Easter lily, but we had so much trouble before, so I'll paint you some flowers. I hope you're okay. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, April 15th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, how very sorry we are to hear of your eyes, kidneys, diabetic borderline problem, and weight loss, a real worry. We certainly hope the springtime weather will help, at least your spirits. What a shock for you. I saw today that Regina had 66 degrees as we have today too. After my successful art show and Patty's visit, I sold 24 to 25 paintings, almost $2,000 in sales. Then our terrible storm, the worst ever, looks like a bomb hit. Then hearing about your eyes, worried about Mark and Peter and you. I'm ready for a healing time, and I'm sure you are too. John and I just went down with the repairmen and builders and insurance man to see about repairing all the damage to the beach house. What a mess. Looks like a bomb exploded. They will start the repairs on the windows and doors, the biggest expense. The break wall and land is not covered by the insurance, unfortunately. It was certainly brave of you to plan a trip to Peter's graduation and see your granddaughter and great-granddaughter. I certainly do hope you're up to the trip. It should be a beautiful time of year, both in Toronto, Cleveland, and North Carolina. Bring the new blue dress I bought you and any other of your nice dresses that fit. With your weight loss, some won't fit. I noticed when we went shopping that you were thinner. Nan Gregory's mother, is also diabetic and lost weight, but on her it looks good. We went to a memorial service Good Friday for a friend who hanged herself. Her husband was best man and I was bridesmaid for Dale in Niagara Falls 33 years ago. Hope you're okay. Take care. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, April 23rd, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, we're so very glad to hear from you and certainly hope that you're feeling better. I'm so proud of you for planning your trip here and hope you're up to it and that it isn't too hard on you. I received your itinerary and only wish you were coming a week earlier and staying a week longer. I'm sure Janet would like you to stay longer also. How her baby will have grown and changed by now. A real little girl growing up. Misty. My daffodils are in full bloom now, just gorgeous. The temperature is in the 70s this weekend, so they'll probably be gone by the time you come. We also have 3 bridge games that you'd enjoy playing. I'm having my 2 tables of duplicate bridge here Wednesday the 28th and a couple in Friday, and also playing Sunday, May 2nd, at a lovely Lake Erie front home. I should have told you to come much earlier so you could rest up for the drive to Duke University. I sold 3 more paintings Sunday to doctors. I've sold about $2,000 this time. I took 30 more paintings to Brecksville for a show, and 3 to Higby's downtown. I'm glad you do well in bridge. It's good to keep your mind sharp. It's wonderful of Audrey's daughter playing so beautiful. Wednesday, Jean Geis Still, who is a wonderful pianist with the symphony, invited about 20 of us to hear her play at the Westwood Country Club and a lovely tea. Patty phoned. She got 195 out of 200 on her physics exam. The moment I got your letter about no sweets, I stopped putting honey in my tea. And I think about Mark with his insulin and Pamela. We'll meet your plane Wednesday, May 5th at 5 p.m., flight number 709. We'll probably leave Friday morning for Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. I would like to go to the World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee on the way back since it's down that way and just opens May 1st. Lots of luck on your health and trip. Love, Ruth. The Adams, 2 East 86th Street at 5th Avenue, New York, New York, 10028, June 4th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, Peter's home. Praise the Lord. We certainly felt that all our prayers were answered when Peter arrived home safely. So many people had been praying for him. He just arrived home. He had hitchhiked home. One of his rides was with someone who tried to convert him to the Lord. He had not gone to the Dominican Republic, but still plans to go. Inadvertently, Patty helped to postpone the trip. She had insisted that John send Peter a check for $300 so that he would have something to go on. The check had not cleared for some inexplicable reason. We had been out of touch with him for 10 days and concerned that he was on his way. However, he decided to come home. He will come with us June 29th to Regina. I have all our tickets paid for. We will return July 7th, but Peter will accept Brian's invitation to visit him. I did not get him an airplane ticket from Regina to Banff because I thought Brian might be driving to the family reunion and take him back. I have a plane ticket for Peter to fly from Calgary to Cleveland July 20th. However, that return date can be changed if done 2 weeks before by July 6th. We are going to Colorado Springs to the Broadmoor July 19th, and I had thought maybe Peter could join us there, but he thinks not. Mark and Janice will fly from Boston July 1st to Regina and return July 6th. It is a long, expensive trip for just a few days, $400 each, $800, and at a very busy weekend, but I thought it important they come while you are still there and an occasion to come and see the rest of the family. Bud writes that his family don't have any emotional attachment to Estevan, nor do mine. However, it would be a good time to get our families together. It will cost us a trip to China for everyone to come. I'm thrilled he's getting his trip. I've been to the Chinese Garden in the New York Metropolitan 4 times this year, and we too want to visit China. It's the in thing here. So many of our friends have been to China. I told Patty we should go. It's wonderful having Patty and Peter both here. Patty is working in 2 hospital emergency wards and will be taking her organic chemistry, so can't come. Peter has filled several hundred sandbags for the bank and working so hard. We went to John's college reunion last weekend. The Partridges were here from Vancouver, Canada. He was president of the University of Victoria. His former boss and vice president at Cominco, Peter Manson, had met Bud. John, Wayne, and Bruce and Jer met lots of their old college friends and had a great time, parties and dinners. We took them to the yacht club for brunch and back here. The Partridges bought 2 of my paintings for $325. Ann and Wayne Duff bought another small one for $20. When I had my hair and nails done, Ken bought 2 small ones, $40, and a doctor who had bought one bought another, $125. So I sold $510 this week. I wish that you had chosen one that you liked the best for your living room and I could bring it up when we come. Can you remember which one you liked the best? Tell me if you had a preference. The friend who arranged the buffet after Pamela's funeral had her breast removed, cancer, and took Carly and me to lunch at the Union Club yesterday. Quite impressive. John is still working very hard on his big case. He's trustee of the Bar Association, so we were at a dinner for that and another Saturday. I went to to my art demonstration last evening with friends and Shar and Patty. John, Patty, and Peter have been going swimming at the yacht club pool and plan to go sailing. I feel that we have been going to John's family reunions every year for 30 years, so it was time we came to mine. Hope everyone enjoys it. I wish Bud would get his family to come too. I'm glad that you got home okay and survived all your experiences and getting some of your identification papers reissued. Patty read your letter and she said, Grandma didn't even mention her trip to New York. It's so good to have them home safely for the moment. However, Patty plans to return to unsafe New York in the fall, and Peter still plans to go to the Dominican Republic. For now, we're enjoying having them here. Patty is helping Peter with his resume to apply for jobs in the Dominican Republic. We are getting him in contact with people here who know people there so that he can write for jobs and will know someone there. And I hope he'll agree to fly. Anyway, we're working on it. We'll see you the 29th. I'll write to Bud to see if we can use his car to go to Estevan since there'll be 6 of us. Maybe he could use yours. I'll enclose our plane schedules. I hope Bud will encourage his family to come also. Joan can come student standby since she's under 21. Janet would love everyone to see Misty, I know, and it would be a unique opportunity for Brian to see Mark. I hope Bud will phone his family to come July 1st. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, June 20th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, we certainly are sorry to hear that Dad is so ill, especially with Bud away. I'm glad that Chris would be arriving. Bud left the 12th and Chris is arriving the 19th, so a week on your own. We'll be arriving the 29th and then Bud will be back. Mark had an operation on his knee last Monday, so hope he'll be okay for the trip too. Peter has been working so hard on the beach house area. The roofers put on a new roof and the carpenters put on a new porch, but we still need a ceiling and the floor done and painting. They have put the top back on the break wall and Peter has put in hundreds of sandbags, but still has to pump sand and put down topsoil and sod. A tremendous job. Patty has started her organic chemistry class, has an exam this week, and is still working in the emergency room at the hospital. I am in another art show this week over at Hudson and think I sold the large rose one for $175. The doctor who had bought 2 earlier ones came with her husband and took the rose. Bruce Partridge, former president of the University of Victoria, phoned from Vancouver. Has the boat one in his office and an artist friend exclaimed over the floral. They suddenly realized the Canadian check was not enough, $325 minus $68 exchanged, so he's sending me another check. We had a luncheon this week for Charlene Norris, who is moving to Chicago. She had bought 3 of my paintings. John is still wound up in trial over the Sohio project. Patty and I went down and enjoyed meeting the other lawyers. We went to a lovely party Saturday and the bar trustees' dinner Friday. One of Peter and Patty's friends just graduated from Harvard and is going to medical school but going to Europe first, Marco Bodor. It's wonderful having Patty and Peter both home. I must get some paintings finished. We'll bring your frame. Write to Brian and ask him to come to Estevan. We hope you're okay and see you soon. Take care. Love, Ruth, John, Patty, and Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, July 12, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, wasn't that fun, having a large part of your family coming and going? If it weren't for you being there, we probably wouldn't have made the trip, and if Chris Field hadn't planned the occasion, we probably wouldn't have either, so it takes us all. I'm glad that we had Mark and Jan out to Saskatchewan too, and certainly hope Peter has a good experience with Brian Smallshaw. It was great to have Patty meet us when we returned. She is working so very hard on her organic chemistry and has a final exam tomorrow. A whole semester's work in just these past few weeks. We phoned Janet in Toronto. Joan's girlfriend had been on the airplane Chris and Mark were on, so she and Joan met the plane and saw everyone. What a shame Janet hadn't gone out with her and Misty too to meet them. Janet hadn't been home when Mark phoned either. She says Joan is returning home in 2 weeks, the end of July. I'll write and see if Chris and Janet would like to come to Lakeside. We leave for Colorado Springs next Monday, and Peter arrives Tuesday. I have a busy week ahead. John has an office meeting tonight, and Wednesday we have an insurance party, opening of a new office. Thursday, my duplicate bridge group plays all day. Friday, we go to the William Shakespeare Festival, and all day Sunday I have a watercolor workshop, plus getting ready to leave. Patty is now staying in the beach house, studying. There is so much work to be done down there, however. However, she likes the view and says it's so good to study there. I stayed down one night and thought the sunrise so beautiful. Patty likes and appreciates the cup and saucer so much, so I'm glad that I bought that home for her from you. It's the first cup and saucer I have. The others are Demitas, which so far I don't use. No, I don't have any sailboats, and I'm so sorry I didn't bring one. The ones in my china cabinet on the landing are both windmills. The one Mark took is your best. The water is so good. It was such a privilege to be with you and have you still enjoying your home and garden. The little orange flowers seem to be surviving. What are they? Patty feels we are so fortunate to have so many trips each year. This past year I've been to New York 4 times, you once, to Duke University, North Carolina twice, you've been both times, to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you twice, 3 weeks in the Bahamas, and 1 in Florida or more. John's leaving. Love, Ruth. Hi, Pat. Hi, Grandma. Glad to hear that your wallet was returned. Does that renew your faith in us Americanos, and that you'll come back again sometime? Mom and Dad had a fun time visiting you. Enjoy the summer and be well. Love, Patty. Dear Gus, wonderful trip with you all. Hope you're recovered from it all. Love, John. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. Friday, August 13th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, where has it gone, the summer? What happened to those looked-for days out in the sun? Between getting ready for going to and being there and getting back from the trips to Regina and Colorado Springs, the 2 weeks workshops in art, painting and having Patty and Peter home and all the work Peter's done on the beach area, and Patty's intensive organic chemistry study, the summer has gone. The purple martins have left, early it seems, a sign of an early winter. Patty took her organic final exam yesterday and gets her bridesmaid dress today after final hemming and leaves tomorrow for Boston for her friend Elizabeth's wedding, her Dartmouth freshman roommate. Patty got a 94, the highest grade on her first semester's exam, but found this term tougher. We'll see. Now she'll start to study for her exams for entering medical school, a big hurdle. Peter finished the sand hauling, the topsoil, and sodding the grass down below and has started painting the beach house. He's got a big job there, too, by himself. He's depressed because he hasn't lined up a teaching position in the Dominican Republic. They require teacher training and also have a limited time he can stay without a job. No iron or boat job this summer, so no big money either. My workshops, driving, leaving at 8 o'clock a.m. and home by 6 o'clock p.m. were more exhausting than I expected, and I feel overwhelmed at the moment with everything. I'm getting slides taken of my pictures for the art show entries and now getting ready for the Huron show. Have to do more small paintings since I sold most of the others. I did get into the Great Lakes Regional Show, which is the final Great Lakes States, and had 1369 entries. It'll be September at Higbee's downtown. I had a nice letter from Shirley and Marnie, both with pictures. Shirley's from the newspaper. Another beautiful day here, looking out at Lake Erie, the lovely lawn and clear sky. How blessed we are. Patty has been especially appreciative of being here. She's stayed mostly in the beach house to study, but feels she hasn't missed the summer because of seeing the boats on the lake. It's been wonderful having them home. House sale next door of the final furnishings. Rosemary Metro has moved. It was wonderful to see you. You'll miss Irene Hood. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, September 7th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, I certainly do hope that you are all right. It is such a long time since we've heard from you. You will miss having Irene and John there. Bud will be glad to have Joan home. I'm wondering if Brian got his visa or papers needed. Things have been busy here and I've been exhausted. Thank you for the lovely anniversary card. It's hard to believe it's 32 years. You asked what we planned to do. Patty thought we should go out to dinner, but we have been away so much and dining out so much that we both wanted to stay home and work. However, Mark and Janice phoned from California that they had decided to come straight to Cleveland, and they flew in, arriving on our wedding anniversary. Patty arrived home August 18th from Boston in New York. She'd been a bridesmaid. So we did all go out to dinner for a lovely celebration. Wonderful. This has been the best summer that I can recall. Having Patty and Peter home has been so great. Such a blessing to have them both home, and we've all been so busy. I had invited Chris Field and you to come to Lakeside. Pat wrote that she'd been encouraging Chris to come because she's been so tied down with Bill. Chris phoned that she was coming and could she bring Bill. John was concerned because she had said he couldn't stand a lot of people. Peter was working on the beach house and Patty's staying down there, so we thought we'd get it fixed up for Bill to stay. However, my cleaning woman didn't come, so I had a lot to do to this house myself. Then when Mark and Janice arrived, they wanted to stay down there. They came the 19th and Chris and Bill came the 20th, so we all went to the yacht club for dinner. And downtown for the Shakespeare Theater and musical, 8 of us. It was a beautiful evening here outdoors and on the porch. The next morning, Patty took Chris's car to her medical preparation classes. John took me and all my 25 paintings to the Huron Marina Art Show, and Janice packed the list I left of things for Lakeside. John came back and Janice packed the station wagon, and John, Mark, Janice, Peter, Chris, and Bill came to the art show and then to Lakeside. Helen Lacey's family were there too. John came for me and my paintings, and then we went to hear Victor Borge at Lakeside. Chris and Bill stayed until Tuesday. We had a big potluck dinner Monday evening, 32 folks. Bill didn't want to leave Lakeside. I had my art show again all day Sunday at Huron, quite tiring. However, I got a ribbon at the Lakeside show and sold a Queen Anne's lace for $150. And I sold about 7 smaller ones, so almost $300 that weekend. And I'm in the Great Lakes Regional Show, 7 states, the next 2 weeks with my women's pace. We all stayed at Lakeside until Saturday and then to Oberlin and here. A lot of stuff to transport, paintings, linens, and people. Mark and Jan went back, flew Sunday evening. It was great to have them here. Mark said he'd like to spend a vacation right here. Janice had helped Patty study her chemistry and biology, and she went back and signed up for chemistry and biology herself to prepare herself as a nutritionist. Hope she sticks with it, as it would be a fine job and also helpful to Mark. Peter is almost through painting the beach house and anxious to move on to the Dominican Republic. He's been applying for teaching jobs and to get a visa. It was so good to have him here. Patty has worked so hard and got another A and takes her 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 8-hour medical entrance exam Saturday, a real challenge. When she was bridesmaid in Massachusetts on the oceanfront home of her Dartmouth's freshman roommate, she then visited Dartmouth in New York. Her doctor boss in New York wants her to come back, so may get her a job. She leaves Monday and will do her chemistry lab work at Columbia University and apply to medical schools. I'm off to the dentist. Love, Ruth. P.S. I'm in 6 art shows. I'm tired. If you still would like me to have your 85th birthday party at Bud's, please send me the list of people to invite, so I can send invitations off. I love you, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. September 14th, 1982. Dearest Mother and Dad, oh, Mother, how very sorry we were here about your back-of-the-eye problems. It had been so long since we'd heard from you, and I was afraid something might be wrong. You've been so fortunate with your eyes until now. I have lived with a very, very bad eye most of my life. We phoned Mark about it. I just sent him an article about diabetes in eyes, and he had an eye exam with a back of the eye specializing and familiar with diabetic eyes. Mark has bad eyes too, but seems okay at the moment. Mark said that your diabetes must not be under control yet for you to have the problem. So maybe you should tell your doctor again. So very sorry. What can we do for you? Maybe Joan or Brian could drive you to see Dad. Or a taxi couldn't cost too much, especially it would be worth it to take a taxi in bad weather. Would you prefer me to come home for a diamond wedding anniversary celebration? Let me know. I'm so happy for Bud and that Joan and Brian are home. It has been absolutely heaven having Peter and Patty home. Last evening was the finale and highlight for me. It was the opening of this art show, the biggest and most important one I've been in. Shar McQuilkin was ecstatic and kept saying, "Aren't you thrilled?" It was packed, wine and cheese and lots of excitement. Patty and Peter came with Patty's luggage, and Shar took her to the airplane for New York. Peter stayed with me for the dinner. John was chairman of his office meeting, so couldn't come until the end. They had the artists at the dinner stand up, and they applauded us. It was very exciting. My first big 7-states art show. We phoned Patty in New York, and she's nervous about being back there alone. We had 2 lovely sales before she left. She was exhausted from her medical entrance exams, about 9 hours long. We saw the movie E.T. and loved it. Very spiritual. We love you. Take care. Love, Ruth. P.S. I know that your closets are too filled now, but thought that you should wear this around the house and in the garden this spring. Throw out something that you don't like. I hope this is okay with your skirt. I feel surrounded by God's love through prayers by so many. Love, Ruth. Now we have one letter to the editor based on the original publication from my father, John S. Ray. Dear Editor, in SFMC number 88, Peter graduates from Duke University in history, cum laude, wonderful. Ruth's family reunion in Saskatchewan, a wonderful experience for all. Congratulations to Ruth for a very successful art show at the Barton Center. A big crash over the intercom yesterday, severe damage to the beach house and break wall and outside area. What a mess, what a storm. I recall what a major effort was involved in making repairs in 1982. Peter was a big help. Patricia was working so hard on her organic chemistry. She did a great job. Stayed focused and got the job done. What a lot of great trips. So glad Gus could participate in so many of them. Ruth said, "This has been the best summer I can recall, 1982. Great. Ruth was in 6 art shows at once. Wow. The bridge item you included with SFMC number 88 is hilarious. Keep up the great work. Love, Dad." John S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.